Match number 12. Godzilla, Showa 74, and King Ghidorah Millennium versus Godzilla 2001 by Shipper's Dreamer. The shores near Mount Fuji were starting to become restless, storm clouds on the horizon. It had been over 10 years since Godzilla attacked Japan, and the guardian monsters had given their lives to stop him. Although the military was more prepared for a giant monster, a whole decade was a long wait for a giant monster to come back. The ground shook for a few seconds before stopping. An earthquake? Japan was no stranger to earthquakes, but the ground shook again. The waters near the famous mountain churned before a violent column of water tore into the air. As water rained down, two powerful claws flexed. Two blank, soulless white eyes leered at the countryside as Godzilla roared powerfully into the open air. Having been reduced to a mere heart, it had spent over a decade regenerating, and now it was strong enough to turn Japan into a burning inferno once again. Marching ashore, Godzilla wasted no time in returning towards civilization. The souls of the forgotten screamed for revenge. The king of the monsters' powerful tail flattened trees left and right as the residents near the mountain were stirred into a panic at the sight of the giant behemoth. Godzilla howled angrily, shoving his way through the small buildings like they were made out of cardboard. His destination was Tokyo, and nothing would get in his way.
Wow, such meta reference.
Two eyes opened on the ocean floor. For years, this creature had been sleeping at the bottom of the ocean after that fateful battle in 1999. While he didn't know how long he was asleep, one thing was very clear. His timer didn't go off.
His cookies, no!
Something was wrong.
No, just send him a box with Prime Minister Shin's voice telling him to go fight an ogre.
But Alex, that's the wrong Godzilla.
Oh. The ocean's darkness was brightened by flashes of blue on his dorsal spines. The creature rose groggily and made a beeline for the coast, towards Mount Fuji. Whatever was there, it had to go. It could feel the malice resonating off of the creature, and while he himself had no real love towards humanity, he wouldn't let anything destroy it if he was still breathing. Yuri knew she had to act fast. Reports were already streaming from every single news outlet, including her own, that Godzilla had come back. The Guardian monsters had done their best to stop Godzilla, but it looks like they only slowed him down. She only knew the location of the statues, Ghidorahs, in the years of Godzilla's absence. Now King Ghidorah was humanity's last hope, and the irony wasn't lost on her.
To think that the biggest alien menace would one day be our savior, again.
Yuri thought to herself, desperately hurrying towards the crystal cavern. Even so far away from the monster, Yuri can still hear Godzilla's howling. A shiver ran up her spine as she slid down the tunnel, stumbling as she landed on her feet. There, with the crystals reformed all around it, was Ghidorah, looking just as powerful as the last time she saw him. Yuri grabbed the statue and held it high.
King Ghidorah, please, as a guardian monster, please, help us against Godzilla again!
She knew Godzilla was extremely strong, but King Ghidorah was the only guardian monster that could stand up to Godzilla. The crystals began cracking, deep fault lines forming before they shattered into a million pieces. Yuri flinched as a golden light poured out of the cavern, forcing her to shield her eyes for a few seconds. Pass.
When she looked, her mouth dropped open as King Ghidorah's three heads looked down
Kaiju
at
X,
her.
you have two more.
I do?
Nagoda won't be joining us.
Okay,
yeah.
two more? Gotcha.
Damn.
Alright. When she looked, her mouth dropped open as King Ghidorah's three heads looked down at her for a few moments. And for a brief moment, Yuri swore the holy creature had understood her. The side of Mount Fuji exploded out with energy as King Ghidorah tore through the sky, roaring thunderously as gold energy poured off of his body as tore straight towards... Huh?
As he told.
What?
It's roaring thunderously as gold energy poured off of his
Kaiju
body.
X.
Yuri's dead.
Gosh,
Yuri's dead now,
Kaiju.
both from the explosion and the grammatical error.
Yes. as tore straight towards Godzilla, this time determined to take the demon down once and for all. Godzilla's body jerked before he wheeled around and snarled with irritation. King Ghidorah's golden form was approaching closer, and Godzilla's dorsal spines hummed blue before the possessed kaiju spat his powerful atomic ray at the guardian monster. King Ghidorah shrieked, a giant shield forming around the weakened guardian as Godzilla's atomic rays absorbed into the shield. King Ghidorah shot the shield at Godzilla, landing on the ground with a tremendous boom as Godzilla shrieked in rage as the golden shield crashed into him. Pass.
The two titans stared each other down for a moment, but before Godzilla could move, he jerked and wheeled around suddenly. A smaller, more misty-like atomic ray slammed into Godzilla's torso, and the demon let out an agonized cry as he stumbled back, his ears being filled with a similar cry to his own. A smaller Godzilla, with sharper eyes and a leaner body, bellowed angrily at the taller Godzilla. Gripping his fists together, he glared at the larger Godzilla. The message clear. Leave or else. The larger Godzilla glared down at the smaller one, before bellowing angrily and charging forward.
Then the two Godzillas fucked while King Ghidorah got out a film camera.
That's why King Ghidorah's roar sounds like laughing. He's giggling.
I'm shooting porno!
The smaller one shrieked in response and sprinted forward, the two Godzillas clashing against each other as the larger one easily threw his weight against the smaller one, sending him crashing against the ground with a loud cry. Well, I guess G&K Godzilla is the fat... Fuck! I fucking ruined that.
A fat fuck! Keep going, Joe.
The possessed Godzilla chuckled before three powerful gravity bolts slammed against his back, elicitating another cry of pain. King Ghidorah roared at the large Godzilla, flapping his powerful wings and charging straight at him. Godzilla quickly charged his atomic ray, but he screamed in anger as the smaller Godzilla rammed into him. The atomic ray carving a deep trench into the ground, but missing the guardian monster, as the smaller Godzilla clawed and punched the other one, before pulling back as Ghidorah slammed his weight against the demonic Godzilla. Godzilla howled as he was sent toppling over onto his back, and the other Godzilla turned and gave a piercing look at King Ghidorah. He had fought Ghidorah multiple times, but this one was different somehow. Ghidorah turned his attention towards the smaller Godzilla and gave a roar. This Godzilla was an ally, one he was happy to have. Godzilla nodded and roared back. He didn't fully trust this Ghidorah, but the other Godzilla was the bigger threat. He would deal with Ghidorah in due time if needed. The two allies turned as the demon Godzilla rose to his full height, wasting no time as he marched towards King Ghidorah and the other Godzilla. The two monsters each roared, before unleashing their signature attack. Gravity bolts ripped in the air and slammed into Godzilla, while the smaller one's atomic ray crashed into Godzilla's chest. The demon ignored the searing pain and kept wading forward, firing his atomic ray at the two, forcing them to stop their attack and separate. Godzilla swung his head and neck, trailing his atomic ray towards King Ghidorah, forcing the Guardian to rise into the air to avoid the attack, as the explosion thundered beneath him. The smaller Godzilla roared in anger, charging towards his larger counterpart. Godzilla wheeled around, slamming his powerful tail into the smaller one's head, grinning as he heard the other Godzilla cry out in pain before tumbling to the ground, dazed.
And that's the Donkey Punch version of a Godzilla. And I realize I said that backwards. Fuck.
We're all ruining our jokes today. Godzilla had only seconds to enjoy the moment before King Ghidorah was on top of him, biting into his neck and shoulders with his head. Golden lightning crackling as the thunder spark helped empower King Ghidorah's bite. Godzilla shrieked in anger and flailed, waving his body left and right in an attempt to shake King Ghidorah off of him. But the guardian monster refused to go, instead pouring gravity beams out of his mouth directly at Godzilla's wounds. And for the first time, Godzilla screamed in agony as the assault finally made it through his almost indestructible body. The smaller Godzilla rose groggily to his feet, shaking out the cobwebs before locking his eyes on the thrashing demon. This Godzilla was tough, extremely tough. But there was one thing the defender of the Earth had over his destructive counterpart: experience. Taking advantage of the confusion, Godzilla slowly maneuvered behind the wrestling titan, waiting for the right moment. A few moments later, the demonic demon had finally thrown off King Ghidorah, panting a little as he bellowed in rage. How dare this weak creature wound him like this? Before he had a chance to enact his revenge, he felt something grab his tail. Pass.
Before he could counterattack, the large Godzilla shrieked in surprise as he found himself high into the air, before he was pulled back down and slammed onto the ground. The smaller Godzilla roared, lifting the larger one up before slamming it back down again. He roared at King Ghidorah, and Godzilla once again hoisted his demonic counterpart into the air by the tail, and King Ghidorah unleashed a flurry of gravity bolts at the demon, sparks showering down as the evil Godzilla was slammed back to the earth, sending a huge cloud of dust into the air. The smaller Godzilla let go of the demon's tail, roaring at King Ghidorah before his dorsal spines flashed, ready to finish off the demon. King Ghidorah began charging his own gravity bolts, eager to finally end Godzilla's reign of terror once and for all. From the dust cloud, however, a bright flash of blue could be seen. Before either Godzilla or King Ghidorah had time to react, a powerful atomic ray shot out and slammed into King Ghidorah's chest, sending the guardian monster crashing back across the ruined countryside. Godzilla roared furiously as he fired his atomic ray at the demonic Godzilla, but he watched as the Godzilla slowly rose to his full height, snarling down to the little Godzilla. Nuclear energy churned behind the demon Godzilla's maw, and he fired his own atomic ray at the other Godzilla with no mercy, the beam hitting him directly and sending him flying back, crashing against the ground as smoke curled from his blackened chest and stomach. Godzilla wheezed painfully, some blood even leaking out of his mouth. He hadn't expected the other Godzilla's ray to be so strong. As the demonic Godzilla loomed over the smaller one, he could hear the thousands of souls screaming for blood and revenge. His lips turned into a twisted smirk, and began viciously stomping on the smaller one's already blackened chest. The small Godzilla had a pained, choked cry before his face was stomped on, the resurrected Godzilla roaring down at him. King Ghidorah slowly rose to his feet, only to quickly raise his shield as Godzilla fired his powerful atomic ray at him. King Ghidorah howled, firing the shield at Godzilla, but the undead atomic giant easily moved out of the way, letting the shield pass by him harmlessly. King Ghidorah let out a volley of gravity bolts, but Godzilla chuckled. Channeling his awesome power, he let the golden lightning beams wash over him. They converted their awesome power his own. Alright, that sounds weird. He opened his mouth wide and fired a supercharged beam of energy at King Ghidorah, flooring the Guardian with a pained cry. Slipping in and out of consciousness, down and injured Godzilla watched with blurry vision of the demon strode over to King Ghidorah, mercilessly beating on the wailing kaiju. His hands slowly turned into fists. This Godzilla was his toughest opponent yet, but he wasn't unbeatable. If he could bleed, he could be killed. Thunder boomed overhead, and Godzilla felt the rain pour down on top of him. The storm was finally here. Lightning crackled before the king of the monster slowly rose to his... The lightning whipped across the sky before rocketing towards the ground. The lightning slammed into Godzilla, awakening in his body, letting the super regeneration heal the damage done by the demon Godzilla. flexing his hands, the rejuvenated Godzilla in a powerful roar before sprinting towards the other Godzilla, determined not only to stop him, but save his ally. How many more do I got left?
2 more. Then we'll
The undead Godzilla turned just in time to see the other Godzilla jumping into action, sending a thunderous barrage of punches that sent this larger monster stumbling back. Godzilla shoved his large counterpart back, before unleashing his atomic ray at the other's face. The other Godzilla howling in pain as he clutched his face in pain. Using the brief opening he had created, Godzilla had helped King Ghidorah to his feet, roaring in concern. Ghidorah chirped back, but now he had a plan. Quickly relaying it to Godzilla, the two monsters nodded in understanding before turning their attention back to the undead menace before them. Pass.
No. The damage to his face. Healing. Shouldn't it be started healing?
Gosh darn it, Kaiju X.
Jesus, dude!
So good you forgot to edit it.
Well, in defense of Kaiju X, this match is pretty good so far. Or,
Yeah.
it is pretty good last I remember. The three monsters stared one another down as the thunder boomed again and the lightning cracked, signaled the start of the fight. King Ghidorah and Godzilla charged at the undead monster in unison. King Ghidorah firing gravity bolts at the demon while Godzilla got in close again, slashing his claws, sparks flying. The undead got to the life one away, but the second he did, King Ghidorah was on top of him, biting into his flesh with his thunder spark again, creating massive hickeys, causing the soul vessel to scream in agony. Godzilla pushed Ghidorah off him with a mighty shove, but his should.
Gosh darn it, Kaiju X.
It was so good.
This guy.
You guys are pointing out errors when you should be reading it.
It's really noticeable, though.
Yeah, but some people aren't gonna complain. Anyway, power, blood, and skin as the other Godzilla had fired his atomic ray at the wound Ghidorah had made, clutching his bleeding and useless shoulder with his good arm. The vessel of the dead shrieked in agony, but the two Earth defenders didn't relent. Ghidorah sent another volley of gravity bolts as Godzilla fired his atomic ray again. The combined assault was too much for the zombie Godzilla, and his arm had been blown clean off, leaving only a bleeding and smoking hole where his arm and shoulder used to be. Letting his pain fuel his anger, the edge, the undead Godzilla's dorsal spines began to glow a sickly bright blue. Thinking quickly, the smaller Godzilla charged his undead counterpart and rammed him in the stomach, forcing the undead giant to bend over, kinky. Unleashing his atomic ray at the ground and completely severing a giant chunk of Godzilla's tail off in the process. Despite the agonizing pain, Godzilla passed on, clawing at the undead monster's chest fiercely, sparks and scratches appearing as he fired his atomic ray point blank. Forcing the evil creature backpedaling with a smoking chest, King Ghidorah took advantage of the opening his ally had created and fired his gravity at the zombie's chest, more sparks flying as the beams blackened the already burnt area. Humping over, the undead Godzilla wheeled over to protect his chest. Kaiju X, why did you say humping over instead of punching over?
Okay, that one's on you.
I don't know. I think that's on. I think you forgot to edit that out.
I think that's supposed to be hunching, but I could be wrong.
It does say hunching.
Harley, are you sure? I think it says humping. GVZ, does it say humping or hunching?
I think it's just humping.
We got a civil war then.
Are you the hunching person or a humping person?
Remember, humping's the only way to go.
You guys are making such jokes.
The other Godzilla doubled, the flying tail sailed over his head, and he straightened up with a powerful roar. Moving forward, Godzilla used all of his mighty strength to shove the undead demon over. The zombie flailed, his chest exposed as he fired his atomic ray wildly, the powerful beam carving deep trenches into the ground, but the two defenders were unharmed. Japan's defenders fired everything they had at the downed Godzilla, sending chunks of his skin flying and blood splattering as they kept whittling away at the undead behemoth's tough hide until they finally exposed his beating heart. Despite the immense pain and pleasure he felt, the undead Godzilla still struggled to rise to his feet, but his neck was stomped on by the other Godzilla, grounding him. Nice! Godzilla roared at King Ghidorah, knowing he wanted to finish off this Godzilla more than anything. His whole body glowed with a brilliant gold as King Ghidorah rose in the air. All three heads glared down at the heaving undead Godzilla. And with a final booming cry, he fired his most powerful gravity beams directly at the heart of the downed Godzilla. There was an unearthly wail as thousands of souls screamed out in unison along Godzilla. But just as quickly as they started, they also ended. Godzilla pupilless eyes dimmed, and the body slumped, finally dead. This Godzilla's reign of terror was finally over, for good. Godzilla removed his foot from the dead one's neck, looking up at King Ghidorah and roaring at him. Ghidorah roared back before turning and heading back to Mount Fuji to rest after such an exhausting battle. And so he could be rejuvenated for whatever the next threat could be, and maybe he would have his comrades help him. Turning his attention towards the sea, Godzilla roared into the air one last time before walking towards the sea. Probably could have used ocean in this one instead of second.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kaiju X.
Aww.
He too needed rest from such a hard fucking, but he would be back. Whether it was to fuck mankind again, or to destroy it, no one would be sure. But soon everyone would know about his return, for better or for worse. And that return is again and 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 again. Winner Godzilla, Showa, and King Ghidorah Millennium, and the agains.
What? You guys are making the worst joke?
And the final match as Andrew was the editor.
No, not even that. Freaking editing's been tossed on the gray shot. Match 6 was the last match
I'm not the editor of the matches.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the KWCEs. My bad.
No.
Gosh darn it, Kaiju X.
Gosh darn it, Kaiju X. You ruined my joke!
Oh, this was the last one I edited, yes, but it's not going to be my last one ever to edit. There's still some I have on me that's like, okay, I'll edit this one, blah, blah, blah. So
Good.
And they'll all be so good you forget to edit them.
But with that said, I'll be frank, this is actually a rather enjoyable match. I notably, I remember when I first read, there were definitely a couple points that were like, it's a little vague on which Godzilla this is referring to. I think there's only one point where that ever really happened.
I tried really hard to make sure the two Godzillas were distinct in the match.
Right. And I think this does a good job with keeping the two Godzillas differentiated to the point where it's like, okay, it's this Godzilla doing this and this Godzilla doing that. Granted, as is the case with any of these matches that involve more than one of the same creature, you kind of have to pay attention. So it's like you can't just skim through it, otherwise you'll really get mixed up. But that's not the match's fault, that would be more your fault. So, but with that said, this is actually an overall solid match. It's like, I could have wished there was more a narrative ploy to it, but it still feels like it is, this is overall, a solid, decent match with an interesting team-up, which I really hope to see more of in the future. So. Joe, did you have any thoughts? Or?
I thought it was a really good match. I really enjoyed it. I liked the idea of Godzilla and King Ghidorah teaming up. And I like Godzilla fighting another Godzilla. Although I did say in the first committee reads of the KWCE reads that I don't really like really similar monsters fighting, but I think this is the exception, not the rule.
It helps out that the GMK Godzilla is so different compared to other Godzilla.
It does help that
he's
you
extremely unique.
It helps that you do reference him as undead or zombie.
Yeah, I mean, he is.
Right.
You can't choose not to.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
different
really
little-
does help.
Right, like demonic and undead and whatnot. It's like, yeah, the fact that like he has different little description characteristics that help distinguish him from other Godzillas. Like, had this been Heisei Godzilla as the villain, things would have gotten more confusing because both Showa and Heisei are very similar. Like,
Yeah.
one's heroic, one isn't, sure, but it would have been like, Nuclear Menace, Nuclear Leviathan, or what have you. But here, at least you can call it zombie, undead.
Yeah, I also the GMK Godzilla is one of the few Godzilla that's 100% bad to the bone.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there was
definitely.
not a ounce of decency in him.
So,
Alex, again, this is my match. I can't really.
Like I said before, I really like this match. I thought it was a nice way to implement the Showa universe and GMK together. If that was your intention.
It was, but it was. I was probably it was. I did intend to bridge like GMK kind of happened, like the Showa. Like I think it tied in with GMK's theme of forgetting and remembering things, because they just want to forget that Godzilla existed before 1954. And even then, they would want to forget that.
Even though the other Godzilla's a hero, for the most part.
Even though, for the most part, the other Godzilla's a hero, they'd rather forget instead of remember.
well, I think
And they want to forget that there's an evil...
Yep.
Even
Yeah.
more one. Yeah, I think the other thing you can make note is that with the heroic Godzilla, it would make it easier to forget the 54 Godzilla too. So, like, forget the horrors of the past. And
Yeah.
so I could see how that could still work.
Like I said in the thread, I thought it was really nice of King Ghidorah being a healer, like a paladin sort of thing.
Yeah.
To Godzilla. That was really neat. Plus, I actually do like that it's King Ghidorah who did the finishing move compared to the usual Godzilla, always doing it.
Yeah. Showa Godzilla with these. Finish that. Go ahead.
However, again, this is kind of just me. I will say Yuri just kind of seems like a plot device. Like, she's just there to activate Ghidorah. Doesn't really have much beyond that. That's kind of my only nitpick for this match.
Yeah. I should have had more of a story. What I should have done, I feel like I should have had a prologue of Yuri desperately trying to find one of the Guardian statues and being like, just in case.
Right.
But yeah, aside from that, this match was really, this is the version of match 6. If we're talking about GMK elements.
Right.
Match 6 or match 6?
Orochi versus Aragon 20.
Oh, that's
GMK
yeah.
Ghidorah.
The other match that features GMK Ghidorah.
Okay, that's right.
I think this one did a better job telling a story.
Yeah.
Like I said with match 6, it really just felt like a retread of GMK, but just replaced Godzilla with Orochi. There was like virtually no difference, and the Mothras, but there was also no difference.
Yeah, aside from the whole Yuri thing, there was really no coincidence factor to this one compared to match 6. Or how convenient it was.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, this one actually did really feel like Showa and GMK mixed together well, and it gives you that nostalgia feeling, the good kind. Not the bad kind, like in Shin, but the satisfying good kind.
How did you
earned.
Yeah, how did you guys feel about my descriptions of the Showa Godzilla? Because I was fine with GMK Godzilla, but I was a little unsure if I was describing the Showa Godzilla and how he acted.
I do like that you mentioned he was smaller. That was quite nice.
Believe it or not, I actually give a damn about what the height and weight say.
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
Okay, because I actually give a damn about.
Right.
If this monster's taller than this monster, I have to make a note about
Showa
that.
Godzilla were good, so.
Also, Nagoda said he wanted me to speak up.
Yeah.
You are fucking lucky, Harley. This match was adequate. I enjoyed it something for once. For now, I will let you live. But if you make a terrible match, I will not hesitate in skidding you alive.
I will retranslate that for you to say that Nagoda said, I thought the match was nice and like the team up of Godzilla and King Ghidorah is rare to see them working together. And I agree.
Yeah, it's a nice match. Really good.
Yeah, the premise was what Ghidorah would team up with what Godzilla, and Showa and Millennium are.
And I do like how they kind of hesitated for a bit in teaming up, since they both had experiences with their evil doppelgangers.
Yeah, King Ghidorah was like, "Oh," and I wanted to make it on Showa was like, I wanted to make it like, even for until the very end, Showa was not very trustworthy. Even though I thought he kept it in the back of his mind, maybe.
Right,
but at the end, he figured out that he was trustworthy.
Yeah. Just in the back of his mind for... Yeah, it's like, maybe I should watch out for him.
Yeah, it really does give you that Showa feel. And it's satisfying that way.
Definitely.
There's something else I was going to say. I'm trying to... shit, what was I going to say? I liked it when Godzilla went into the ocean and said, "Wee, I'm surrounded by water." I don't know. I forgot what I said. What I was going to say, so I just said that instead.
In my opinion,
I saw two Godzillas fighting and I clapped.
I was going to say, very satisfying end to the first year of the KWCE, and it is definitely in my top 5 for this year.
Yep.
Now get to voting.
This
I will.
This match in match 9 actually incorporates. It actually goes based on my personal philosophy with how crossovers should do. It feels really cheap to just mash them together. For me, I would.
Yeah, that's the problem with a lot of these matches.
I personally prefer to like smoothly like transition into 2. So if that for the Rampage match, that means the keyboard made the Rampage characters, but incorporate that into Attack on Titan instead of having them just show up there.
Yeah, this is why a lot of your matchups work, because you actually give a damn. Besides them going, I want to see them to fight, and like you're hitting action figures together.
Yeah.
You're actually telling a story.
Yeah, well, I mean, I still want them to fight, but I'm actually considering how am I going to get there. There needs to be there needs to be even some sort of justification as to why these things are fighting, even if it's really weak.
Yeah, make us care and make it an experience.
And for matches that involve Showa Godzilla, I don't see why people are so. This seems to be just not. I may be wrong about this, but most authors in the KWC don't really like acknowledging past events in the movies. And that's
again, that's like match 10. There's no clear backstory to it.
Like vaguely referenced, but not explicitly stated. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that could have like dampens things where there's no clear explanation of what happened. You're just left with they got away, but and even just in a match, just having a bit of breathing room, just have small little character moments for the monster.
Yeah, build up your universe in the match.
Yeah, just have when there's just give opportunities. Have Godzilla and King Ghidorah after the fighting goes on. They stop you like, wait a minute. Hold on.
Or, here's an idea. Give them personality, like in this match.
Oh, I mean, Showa Godzilla is nothing but personality.
Definitely.
Especially because I also wanted to include Showa, even though I also wanted to leave ambiguous as what exactly Showa Godzilla is going. Because even though he's mostly a good guy, he's not always the good guy.
He's either gonna kill him.
He's gonna kill them all, or he's gonna save them all. Which I think is a very unique characterization of Godzilla. No one where his actual intentions aren't clear. Where he doesn't really like humanity that much, but he'll still go out of his way to protect it.
Right.
I mean, God forbid that the monsters be characters.
Yeah.
Unlike Match 10, which made them into stuff.
I honestly, I feel like Match 10 really could have done more with IRX's supposed intelligence.
It kind of seems honestly overrated to me.
But if it was supposedly intelligent, I really wouldn't mind if the IRX actually laying traps out and being more, thoughtful and critical thinking and all that nonsense.
Or elaborate what was not elaborated upon in the movie, even.
Yeah, do that at the very least.
Alright. So
Remember, kids, this is how you do a good crossover.
Alright.
Crossover, yeah.
So, as we come to a conclusion to Season 7 of the committee reads, for the most part,
There might be something.
there might be something.
There might be something.
Dayman. Whoa!
There might be a bonus something, or if you listen to the 2017 December podcast of the KWCC, anyone will know that the KWC audiobooks will be a thing in the near future. I hope. So keep an eye out for that. The KWC audiobooks will not be available on this channel. Rather, I'm hoping it will be on the Toho Kingdom main website. I'm hoping so.
Ooh.
So yeah, just keep an eye out for TK when that finally, starts hitting production and whatnot.
Yeah, like anyone checks the main site.
Hey, like anyone ever does. I mean, that's how people totally don't check KWCs, right? But with that said, there might be a bonus something coming to you, or maybe there won't be. In the event that there isn't a bonus something coming to you, just note that there is a KWC audiobook coming yonder way. But as a result of the audiobook, the committee reads will be going on a long temporary hiatus.
How long? 10 years, of course.
Yeah, of course, 10 years.
Of course, 10 years.
We'll definitely be going back to KWCs, but as of now, I don't know how long the hiatus will be. So in the meantime, you might also be looking at a new series that's going to be up and coming for the channel. I will be working on the KWC audiobooks in the meantime, but I'm going to be doing something different, reviving the Kaiju X plays for just fill up the time.
And you might see me for a first time.
Might.
Who knows?
Special guests, yay!
It depends if Kaiju X will let me.
I don't see why you should.
He might not like me naming all the Pokemon offensive names.
Honestly, I feel like our Andrew and I, partners in crime, would love that so much.
But with that said, this has been match number 12.